Let's, look at President Trump. People are still getting used to President Trump. And let's just take one of the, controversies, I think would be a fine word. One of the controversies, and that's President Trump, as it were, pulling America out of, foreign aid, support around the world. It is said that that action could very well cripple health programs all around the world and other kind of developmental programs. Okay, we'll look at that. And to help us look into this is Mr. Demola Oshodi. Mr. Oshodi is of the President's Office. A fine morning to you, Demola.
Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Yori.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so how worried should we be, if that is the expression to use? President Trump is saying, well, it's our money. We have not been getting value, so he alleges, and we've got to shape things up a bit in here. Not everybody agrees with that particular analysis, especially the cost-benefit analysis of it. The way President Trump sees the whole issue of America getting anything back is different from what some analysts have said. But how say you on this whole matter? Should we be worried?
I think we should be concerned, but we should not be worried. I say this mainly because Nigeria is at a comparative advantage with other developing countries. Nigeria has tremendous amount of benefits for the America. It has strategic interest for the America. Nigeria it's one of the biggest oil exporter, oil and gas. Nigeria is a leader in Africa and West Africa, provides leadership, stability for America to extend its foreign policy in anywhere in Africa. If they can basically partner with Nigeria, America can project its foreign policy in the Sahel, in anywhere. Apart from that, Nigeria provides that security, for its American interest around the continent, especially around the Bight of Boni, around the Niger Delta coast, where pirates operate. American ships coming from the Atlantic and have to berth in West Africa. So Nigeria provides that counterweight for security concerns around piracy. But again, Nigeria has, it's a large economy. It's a massive population, big market for American export, American expertise. So it can't be ignored. It's like saying, Nigeria ignoring India. India is not a threat to American interests. Neither is Nigeria. I mean, they can talk about China, but Nigeria, India, Brazil did not provide a threat to American hegemony. So it's really quite different for Nigeria. I can't say the same for the rest of Africa.
Okay.
Africa has been reeling from the news of the cut in American foreign aid, especially the U.S. aid. But Africa has to find a way to search itself and find alternatives and do things better to ensure that development assistance continues.
Well, I'm going to take it, and correct me if I'm out of order here. Seeing as you are, SSA to the President on foreign affairs and protocol, is this generally the kind of view from within the presidency on this matter? I know that diplomatic matters are carefully spoken about, although President Trump is not obeying that particular rule. But does what you've just expressed, does it sort of coincide with the view within the presidency?
The Nigerian government has not given an official statement on its response to the cut in U.S. aid. I know President Tinubu has provided $4.8 billion to assist in health issues, healthcare issues. $4.8 billion, sorry. Yes, so especially fight against HIV/AIDS in Nigeria. So that's kind of probably, helps fill in the vacuum where foreign aid from the Americans or anywhere else may lack. So, but Nigeria has not taken a very The Nigerian government has not taken a very clear statement on this. And I think we don't need to. We need to be watchful. We need to watch where the American president and his policies are going. And I don't think we should be alarmed. As I said, Nigeria has a strategic advantage in Africa for the Americans.
Okay.
And, in many cases, the development world has been changing. The British government's Department for Foreign and International Development was also scrapped and incorporated in their Foreign Affairs Ministry. So their foreign aid goes through their foreign affairs. So it's more like a projection of their foreign interests. It's no longer seeming altruistic or charity. It's like, how do we benefit? What's our interest in this, and why should we put our money in? And I think that's where the American U.S. aid is going to go. That's the direction. It's going to be probably incorporated into a core American foreign policy, the department, or as you say, Nigeria ministry, and they're going to project their strategic interest with those foreign aids. So it's like a carrot and stick thing. You benefit us, we'll give you food, we'll give you money, we'll give you arms. You don't benefit us, it doesn't suit our interest, then we're not giving you anything. So okay. It's quite clear. Yeah.
In Africa here, I see, just scanning the news, scanning social media, and going by the leaders of the African countries. My eye was caught by Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa's statement online. You might have seen it, where I don't know exactly the forum he was addressing, but the point he was making is that, so what with America? Africa has to find its own way. And, well, very much as you've said, no need to be alarmed, no need to be perhaps scared, perhaps concerned. You did concede that, maybe, concerned, seeing as these are very, very serious matters. But Cyril Ramaphosa was quite blank about he's not impressed. Africans should look inwards, look into themselves. Effectively, he was advocating African countries through their leaders, should actually get themselves together so that they don't really need America that badly. Now, that was the head of a country speaking. What would be your commentary on that? Because not everybody can speak up, but I don't know. Cyril Ramaphosa decided that, yeah, we're going to speak up about this. It's not good at all. What is going on from America is unexpected, and quite frankly, he has said it's not good and the bluff should be called. How doable would you say that is, Demola?
Well, I'm not sure those are his words, and I'm not sure that's the message he wanted to portray. It's easier for South Africa, which is quite a developed country, to call the American bluff. But the vast majority of African countries and Africans in general do need foreign assistance. And America is the largest largest country that provides this foreign assistance. So it should not be taken lightly, and which definitely should not bluff or stick it to the face of the American government. Even the Canadians and Mexicans and the Europeans are very careful how they respond to Donald Trump's new foreign policy. So, no, Africa does need foreign assistance. It does not mean Africa should depend on foreign assistance. Foreign assistance doesn't necessarily have to be, basically food or medicine. It could go beyond that. It could be, military equipment. It could be, for Nigeria, even with Trump, the first Trump administration, Nigeria got a lot of military assistance, and we were able to purchase military hardware from the Americans under Trump, not under President Barack Obama. American foreign aid was also increased during the first Trump administration. But Africa needs support for health. HIV, American policy has saved over 25 million, American money has saved over 25 million Africans from HIV/AIDS over the decades. American policy on HIV/AIDS and their generosity towards Africa has saved 5.5 million children, unborn children that could have been born with HIV/AIDS. And a lot of them came in from South Africa. South Africa is one of the highest HIV/AIDS rates in the world. So we shouldn't take it lightly. We should be very respectful of their policy, but we should also look inwards and see how we can also ensure our governance system works, how we can ensure that we put the resources in the right
spotlight. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
The TVC News at 7 and the TVC News at 10 are not like any other news broadcast.
It's the big...
Meet Benga Oreshegun, a fearless voice and an advocate for the truth. He's bringing fresh energy and bold insights to journalists' Hangout.
Get ready for deeper analysis and dynamic perspectives. Join me and Babajide Kolade Otitoju with other veteran journalists on Journalists Hangout. Weekdays from 5 p.m. and on Sundays 1:30 p.m.
Hello, TVC Communications. How can I help?
What makes TVC the right choice for my business?
Excellent question, sir. Let me share some exciting facts with you.
Start your day on TVC Entertainment with Wake Up Nigeria, a family and lifestyle show. Your view empowers women globally.
It's your view, let it count.
Entertainment Splash delivers the hottest celebrity trends. On TVC News, we keep you informed with breaking news and in-depth analysis of events shaping the world.
I will continue to speak the truth.
TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. delivers the most important stories of the day. Max FM, your hit music radio station, captivates listeners daily across Lagos and Abuja, making every commute more enjoyable. Adaba 88.9 FM is not left out, as it is the voice of Southwest. And on TVC Digital, we reach to million viewers daily. All together, pulls in over 17 million viewers daily. Contact us on 0707 272 8338 or marketing at tvccommunications.tv. Partner with TVC Communications today. Let's grow together.
Mi gbọ́ dáadáa ń bì.
Àwọn tó wà sí.
Wọ́n ti change
The TVC News at 7 and the TVC News at 10 are not like any other news broadcast.
It's the big news hour, the hour for the big breaking stories.
Okay, indeed, welcome back. We are back, and our guest is Mr. Demola Oshodi, SSA to the President on Foreign Affairs and Protocol. He is in our Abuja studio. Thank you very much, Demola. You know, when you were speaking, is it ARD drugs? America was playing a very significant role in, making sure that that went around the world free. In Nigeria, it has been free, and I'm not sure I heard anything to the contrary. It has been free, so this has been saving, as you said, many lives. And so these are the kind of things that when people comment that U.S. halts to foreign aid will be crippling programs worldwide, it does mean that various governments would have to now be bringing money out of their own pocket, so to speak, to address these concerns, because they must be addressed either on our own or with assistance, which of course is the preferable situation.
Absolutely. The African government has to look inwards to find ways of managing their resources for, basically resources that they get rather than foreign aid. They have to ensure that it's managed well, it's utilized in the right places: health, education, security, agriculture. These are very essential things for the prosperity of a country. American foreign aid is very important. It is, you cannot play. American money saved lives in Africa, especially with the HIV/AIDS. They saved over 25 million lives, saved 5.5 million unborn children. So it can't be taken lightly, but we need to find a governance system whereby our own resources can be better utilized, and we can also leverage on all the partners, the European Union, African partners in China, and also in India, in Brazil, any country that can collaborate and provide assistance. But Nigeria has, again, a comparative advantage with America. And I think we shouldn't get carried away with the American policy at the moment. We can see what happened with Mexico and Canada, how they were suspended and reversed. Foreign aid is an essential part of those big countries, a big power, and how they basically use their soft power in providing, in leverage, in projecting themselves. So it's not just, that America is providing military assistance, or America is telling you what to do. America is also giving you food. America is also giving you transferring technology. America is also training. America is also providing, arms. So it's key that the Nigerian government, which with the leadership of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, enhances and that multilateral relationships and all the global bodies that provide assistance. Now, the most thing that comes to mind when it comes to foreign aid is people thinking, well, where is this affecting Nigeria? Where is this money being utilized? Most of it is actually going to northern Nigeria. Most of it is going to food in IDP camps. It's going to for healthcare benefits in IDP camps, education, and also providing, in many ways, educational transfer of knowledge in other parts of Nigeria. We don't see it every day in big cities and in the middle class. But it's a very vital part of of our economy. Many African countries depend on foreign aid. Malawi, Rwanda, they get a lot of money from these foreign partners, and this suspension from the U.S. aid, which I heard actually may be cancelled, is going to really affect a lot of people there.
Indeed. Well, as you said, as people are grappling with trying to understand this Trump presidency, even the first one has had its difficulties for people to understand, simply because President Trump, I think, is one of a kind. He is not a politician from the get-go, yet he has become the president. So things that we've become used to hearing from presidential quarters, well, he's a deal maker. That's where he's a deal maker, was a billionaire before he became president, and therefore, I guess there might be a bit of "can't nobody tell me nothing" in his demeanor. I don't know. That was just my own, perhaps irreverent take on it. But
I agree. I agree.
Yes. Because a politician would know all these things. But President Trump probably feels that, look, I don't need to know, and that if maybe one of the ways that President Trump might be looking at the world might be through the lens of a deal, because President Trump talks a lot about deals. He talks a lot about deals and business. There are a lot of deals going on. So when you brought up the question of Canada, for example, and Mexico, he seems to have relented a bit. He said, look, especially as those ones have quickly said that, no, take it easy. What we'll do is that we'll increase our border control, we'll increase the fight against immigration. He said, oh, you guys are going to play ball that way? Okay, suspend for a month. Let's see how it's going to work out. So that's the way he's going about it. It's different from the kind of presidential mien that we've been used to around the world. President Trump seems to be in a class of his own.
Is. I think he uses brinkmanship as a leverage, as a way of getting his way. So he will ensure that he pushes hard, and then gets your attention, and then you would negotiate, or you would concede to his position. So it is classic situation. But I need to mention the fact that Trump's first term as president. President Muhammadu Buhari was his first African leader that visited the White House. So this is the importance Trump and the Americans take Nigeria. Everybody remembers when President Buhari went to visit Trump in the White House, and they signed off on great things, especially on security and buying arms to fight Boko Haram. So America understands the importance of Nigeria, and as much as it's a painful development to cut foreign aid and tons of employment, especially local employment, people working in development in northern Nigeria, in parts of Africa, Nigeria is in quite a different position than other African countries. America needs Nigeria. China needs Nigeria. India needs Nigeria. The Europeans need Nigeria. Nigeria cannot be ignored. It is a giant on its own. The market is massive. The leadership role it has is comparable to none in Africa. And the potential is something. Europe is getting old. Europe is getting old. China needs other markets apart from the Americans that are trying to sanction it out or tariff their imports or exports as much as possible. The Europeans also are very reluctant and very suspicious of the Chinese. So China needs Africa and Nigeria in particular. India needs that ideological partner. So does Brazil. They want to collaborate with the global South, especially with the BRICS and the G20. Nigeria is the natural country in Africa. So we're in a quite advantageous position, and nobody can ignore us. So yeah.
Oh, sorry. Did you finish?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Yes,
we're talking about this. There are all aspects to health. We're talking about core health right here. But even the matter of illegal or undocumented immigrants, that's also on there, and he's going about it. The President of America is going about it in his own unique way. The thing is, of course, there's a lot of commentary coming out of America. Most people are saying that, well, it has always been with us. This situation around the world has always been with us, suggesting that this is perhaps not the way, sending everybody back home. He's even gotten to, you heard all the policies that people's mouths are agape. He's even saying, even those who think that they might be American citizens having been born here, that we will take a look at it, that kind of a thing. So really ruffling diplomatic feathers. And as you can see, an attempt has already been made by him to send, undocumented immigrants to what? Is it Mexico, I think? And those ones refused, but later on they conceded and took the people back. It's all about mutual respect. So do you think people read it right when they think that, say everything you want to say, President Trump seems to have indicated that he doesn't have very much respect, for certain peoples of the world as he goes about his business? It's his way and no other.
Well, I think President Trump's policy is America first. So regardless of nationality, race, religion, as long as it suits the Americans. America has a great respect and warmth towards towards Saudi Arabia. America desperately needs India. He needs India to check the Chinese. So, instance, it needs Brazil for its market in Latin America. So many of these people are, they're not Caucasians. They're not, for many of them from a developing country. You would not hear, and I repeat, Donald Trump say anything disparaging much about India. It would not. They need India desperately. India knows that. India is a long-aligned nation, just like Nigeria is, and so is Brazil and places like that. So they are not. They will go where it benefits them, or where our interest lies. So it's not just about a particular race or country. It's about their interest. America first. If America first means that, Arabian countries, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, United Arab Emirates get beneficial treatment in America, so be it. And they're Muslims. Yes. If it means that, Indians, technicians, or Indian military support, Indian partnership in South Asia, South Asian Sea, or in the Himalayas, checkmates, controls the Chinese, America's biggest rival. So be it. They're not going to cut those assistance to places that benefits them. And that's the way it is. It's a very selfish position, but it's their own position, and it's in their interest. So that's where we in Africa have to now look inwards and see how do we ensure we leverage our own benefits, what we have, our own advantages, and ensure we do work our own system well enough to make us less reliant on those changes in foreign affairs. So the Trump presidency is affecting every single country in the world. So we now need to ensure that how does it affect us less, and how does it ensure that we leverage our own strengths for our advantage with the Americans and elsewhere.
Yeah, I suppose it's also sort of useful to flesh out the conversation. Yes, we're talking about President Trump. We've said he seems to be one of a kind when you talk about the diplomacy and the presidential mien. I mean, he has his own rule book, and that is that, and we are seeing the results of it. But I wonder how important do you think it is that commentary within the United States, within opposition in the United States, talking about the Democrats now? I mean, it's all right for us to say MAGA, make America great again, America first. None of the establishment at any point, to be extreme about it, ever said America second or America last. Of course, they've always had the interest, but there's been this way of going about it, that a lot of people within America, from the commentary we are seeing, they're not on all fours with. They're not on all fours at all. That, look, this is what President Trump is doing. Yes, he is our president. Yes, he can do it, and he is doing it. But do we agree? Absolutely not. Is it legitimate? Is it legal? Some are saying no, and some are preparing to go to court. So I just thought we could throw that in, that, look, it's not as if this is a homogeneous kind of opinion. Even in America, there's much pushback against the kind of thing we're talking about, as for America, for instance, deciding to, quote unquote, cripple world programs by withdrawing its aid. Yes. Within America itself, there's a lot of pushback.
There is, but again, that is their own domestic issue. They voted for the man, they voted for his party this is what they voted for, and this is what has been played out. So, it's their own cross to bear, and many Americans will probably support Trump's policy, regardless of what the opposition says. And again, there's opposition to every government in the world, internally, so it's a natural thing. But again, we just have to ensure that we push our interests first. There's an article I'm just about to send out to the newspapers, and it says Africa first. And Africa first means we leverage what we have, our own advantages. South Africa is having issues with the Trump administration, especially with Elon Musk's involvement there. And South Africa is saying, well, you know what, this is not the way it is regarding land exploration. But South Africa is keeping a close eye on other partners, China, the BRICS, G20. You understand? So South Africa is going to be hosting the G20 later on this year, and it's going to ensure that they diversify their interest from the Americans, and a lot of countries may want to do that. African Union meeting is coming up next week in Addis Ababa. I want to believe that's going to be one of the big agendas. How they respond to the call in technical and development assistance from the Americans, and how how we can ensure that Africa, especially with our free trade arrangements, which we have not fully implemented, how do we ensure that we put those in place to encourage trade and commerce around the continent? So
okay, I'll tell you what, Demola, I beg your pardon for interrupting you. I'm so sorry for interrupting you, Demola, but Mr. George has come on the line and don't want to hold him up too long. Good morning, Mr. George. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning.
Good morning to Mr. Ashodi. I believe you can hear me, Uncle Yori.
Yes, we can hear you.
Uncle Yori, for me, we should just not worry ourselves about the shenanigans of Donald Trump. It's an opportunity for us to address our problems and move on as a country. What makes America great is about the resources of America and how America uses that resources at their disposal for the well-being and the render to other countries' needs. If Donald Trump says that America under his watch, can no longer bear that responsibility that makes them the leaders of the world, so be it. It is an opportunity for another country like China to take over what made America the leader of the world. So let it be like that. It's led for them.
All right.
As a country in Nigeria,
yes.
I think it's an opportunity for us to do away with corruption, minor corruption in this country. I don't think we need all these aid they are talking about. They said, they provided money to address AIDS. Who brought AIDS to Nigeria? Is it not America? We can address our problems without these so-called aids if there is effective management of our resources, and we can do away with corruption. Nigeria has all what it takes to make every Nigerian happy.
Okay.
So
all right.
Let Donald Trump and America do whatever they like. They decided to elect a criminal as the president. That's their business.
Oh, well, Mr. George, yes. you just added the second word that worried me, on a live broadcast. Because you started off. You said, well, okay, I hear what you just said. Yes. I heard what you just said. But you said earlier that is it not America that brought AIDS here? I was wondering that, oh dear, we don't have enough, backing for that particular statement. That it was America that brought AIDS here. Anyhow, I don't know, Demola, do you want to come in on this, or do I go to break? I'm sort of left with my own devices here.
I just want to mention briefly that we have to respect the American government. We have to respect their president. They voted them in. America is a very, very important player, the most important player in the world. And we have to work with them and be very sensitive to what we say, because eventually we will, have to speak with them and negotiate with them, and see how their interests and our interests align. So it's very important that the Americans are respected, and because government comes, government goes, but you have to ensure that your national interest in this anarchical world, in this world where everybody is pushing for their own interests, whether, by country, unilaterally or regionally or multilaterally, we need to ensure that, everybody works together for their own benefit. So, yes, and Nigeria first. We need to ensure that we put our things in order. the reforms of Bola Ahmed Tinubu helps this because we now open up our fund, we open up our resources now. We don't have to subsidize a lot of things. We have resources to better make up for any shortfall from anywhere in the world. President Tinubu mentioned 4.8 billion towards healthcare to make up for any shortfall from U.S. aid from the Americans. This is just a few days ago.
Okay.
So we put our place in order and
Let me bring in Mazi Okorafor in Arochukwu. Good morning, Mazi.
Good morning, Sanjay.
Yeah.
You see, this issue of tax we are talking, the American government tax they are doing is not different from what we're supposed to see here. Now, you see, they say Mexico, Canada, and China. Why are they putting those taxes? Because what those people are bringing in from this country, they have factories in the U.S. How do you protect your own infant industry under industrialization?
Mazi, did you start off talking about tax or taxation? We're talking about, U.S. halting, aid, and that this might cripple projects worldwide that U.S. has been supporting. USAID, for instance, and the work that they've been doing around the world. That's the subject of, that's the focus this morning.
What America is what that is like the World Health Organization.
Yes. He wants to pull out of that.
We they say they are not going to. You see, they are also helping countries. What do I told you? Like, let me take Nigeria as a case study.
Okay.
In Nigeria, we have a lot of institutes in Lagos. We have a lot of institutes in Ibadan. We have a lot of institutes in Umudike. We have a lot of institutes in Jos that produces some of these products. For example, when these rabies came that people normally get from dogs and rabies, the industry in Jos, what we produced at that time, that was as far back as early 80s and early 90s. Those drugs or those medicines they were producing were very, very strong, more than the one we import. What happened? Politics dropped the whole thing now. Nobody's talking about the bomb production. Now look at Ibadan. Is there any people that cannot get the people that you sit in that? These people there. They are there. But what do? We continue to. Now, do you know how much we spend in terms of exchange rate? Bringing all those. Now, let's you can get back there. You know, let's get moringa. You come here, carry our moringa, carry our ginger, carry our garlic, and go outside and produce all these cancer people use as antibiotics. And find it here, send it back to Nigeria. We have the industry here. Now, let me give you an example. I have a friend now. He's looking for bitter cola in Nigeria. We cannot find bitter cola. They said we can get bitter cola in where? In Cameroon. The ginger I was looking for, yes. And what is the ginger? The bag of that ginger is around 200 and something. But they are selling it outside 800 and something thousand. You see, the guy product the money going outside to other country. You see what the performance are getting only 200 and something. These are why the Nigerian government should be doing one. Because what they are doing there is a very nice thing that let African continent sit down, look at what they produce, look at the raw material they have in their country, and make use of it and stop depending outside the that is why when they depending because of we depend so much on that. That is why you see with Japan. You that is Japan going outside now, you are going for the made one. Can't you sit down and put the up in order?
All right, Mazi.
Government are taking what Trump. I still love Trump.
Thank you very much, Mazi. Thank you, Mazi Okorafor. Well, Demola won't be unhappy to hear that. Somebody just said there from Arochukwu that I so much love Trump.
I didn't say I did not like Trump. I didn't,
no, you didn't. I'm saying you. You'll be pleased to hear that.
Let me be very clear. So they don't stop me from traveling to America or anything like that. No, but my interest is Nigeria, and and of course the agenda of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, ensuring that that our foreign policy falls in line with his renewed agenda and his reforms. The same vigor he's taking towards his domestic reform is also what he's pushing for his foreign policy. President Tinubu has taken an economic diplomacy by flying around the world and ensuring that we cut great business deals, opening up the economy for investments, and ensure that our security, especially in the Sahel, in West Africa, and ECOWAS is in line with our progress and development. So that is where I fit in, and I'm indifference to American presidency or policy, as ensuring that it just benefits our loved country, Nigeria.
Indeed.
Let's clarify that.
You were saying that there's a continental meeting, African continental meeting. Was it the AU that you said maybe perhaps next week, that kind of thing, where it is expected that, of course, America will be part of the conversation that's going on there. How does the continent, how does it brace, if that is the word? Respond.
Yes.
Respond. Yeah. How does it respond?
Yes.
So.
Well, yes. I think it's still relatively new. Everything has just been moving super fast in the past week or two since Donald Trump was inaugurated. So there's not been any real clear response yet from either a regional body like ECOWAS or SADC or African Union. But I want to believe that the African Union summit happening in next week, mid-month, February, there will be some sort of policy decision or I would say statement regarding that. But they would not, I don't believe any country or any regional body, multilateral or bilateral, will want to antagonize the Americans. The Americans and the leadership of Donald Trump cannot be ignored. America is the most important country in the world. We can only just leverage what we have, our benefits. We can also partner with other countries, China, and which is a very, very large rising, emerging superpower. We can also ensure that we do things well internally, and also ensure that Africa opens up its trade. Like the African continental free trade, arrangement. So that is also there. ECOWAS also is very important. Unfortunately, those three countries have left of ECOWAS, but we still have opportunity to work with them to ensure that there's free movement of goods and services. So we need to look internally more. It's more of a desperate need. And we also need to partner with other entities. European Union. The European Union are very, very, very much in support of development works in Nigeria and Africa. So Nigeria I believe, should not be too worried. We should be concerned. But with the reforms and the freedom, the reforms that the president has given, especially removing subsidy. Do you know how much money that saves the country? Electricity, oil, petroleum subsidy. Do you know how much money that frees for development, for health, for education, for security? As painful as it is, it really, really helps us. It gives us that, a bit more leeway, in doing things. So we're less dependent on this foreign assistance that we're all crying about right now.
Yes. Exactly. You're exactly right. But as you know, the other side of that coin is that as it is freeing, as those subsidy removals are freeing up resources for very important projects, it also is putting a stress on the regular, ordinary Nigerian. I'm not saying that every Nigerian can feel it the same way. There's a matter of jobs, there's a matter of what we can afford to pay, and as all of this is, as all this situation is bubbling and boiling, whereas I take the point you made that money has been freed up, for other important things. There is the challenge of we also have to see what can be done to support the Nigerian who perhaps is being rudely aroused from a long-term use of quote-unquote free government-provided livelihood. Government provides your water, provides your power, your electricity. In fact, I don't know why they didn't say government should provide phones. But Nigerians have become used over the years until very, very recently with so many things being done at a discount. And that's why there's a resistance. But people, as you know, I'm sure, I don't need to tell you, you're a researcher yourself, people can't really, how does one put it delicately? People are not exactly enjoying themselves unless you happen to be a quote-unquote millionaire class.
Well, I think enjoyment is relative. It's not just as much as money is very important, but enjoyment is a relative term. If you speak with people in very simple positions, and they will tell you they find peace and comfort in their surroundings, in their community. So, but yes, the reforms are tough, but it is essential, and it's already providing a lot of fruits for Nigeria. We are more secure. We are having more development, infrastructure development. There's more money towards health, education, and it's a lot of it is because of the reforms of the president and his actions, even in foreign affairs. Nigeria has taken a bold move in Africa in ensuring that security concerns in the Sahel and investments into Nigeria is coming in. You can't subsidize your economy and expect people to bring money in to try and compete. It's just not possible. They want to make sure that everything is free for everybody. They can compete without government just throwing money in. So I think it's a great opportunity for Nigeria moving ahead with our opening of our economy and the respect we're receiving from foreign partners. The fact that the bold case towards the reform has never been done. It has never been done.
Okay.
It's going to transfer our economy in a very structural way. So this is as far as I'm concerned, this is really a good time to be a Nigerian, especially as we lead in Africa.
All right. I think that's a fine place at which to leave it, Demola. I want to thank you very much for coming along and sharing your impressions on these global political affairs. Thank you very much. Our guest has been Mr. Demola Oshodi, SSA to the President on Foreign Affairs and Protocol. Thank you very much, Demola.
Thank you very much, Sister. Thank you very much.
All right then. So that's our program today. Do please join us tomorrow then for a fresh edition. I am Iori Polari. Bye-bye for now.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time? Facts. Witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Every second, every minute, every hour, and every day, time doesn't just tick away. It's a countdown to political decisions that shape our world.
This country must move.
Imagine the impact these decisions have on our lives. Some are consequential, others may leave us intrigued or baffled.
You will have no better friend and partner than Nigeria.
Step in and feel the frenzy like never before. Join me every weekday for an hour of fact-finding interviews, but questions cut to the core.
How would you say your administration has fared in these sectors?
I will dig in to get to the heart of issues, from local politics to global insight. Join me as I unearth the power plays, jaw-dropping revelations and the unfiltered truth. This isn't just politics, it's unraveling the stories that matter. Brace yourself for Politics Tonight every weekday at 8 p.m, where every decision echoes along the corridors of our lives. Politics Tonight, only on TVC News.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Coming up in the month of February, on the 2nd of February is the World Wetlands Day, and the 4th of February is the day set aside to create awareness on cancer. On the 6th of February, we turn our attention to the International Day of Zero Tolerance to Female Genital Mutilation. On the 11th of February, we celebrate International Day of Women and Girls in Science. On the 13th of February is the World Radio Day. On the 14th of February is Valentine's Day. On the 17th of February is dedicated as the World Global Tourism Resilience Day. And by the 24th of February, it will be 3 years since Russia invaded Ukraine. Stay tuned to TVC News as we bring you reports and analysis of these events.
TVC News, first with breaking news. You're watching Beyond 100 Days with Nifemi Oguntoye. President Tinubu, since he assumed office,
we are on our way to progress.
6 out of the 8 APC federal lawmakers.
I have a movement structure that's going to take back our party in Enugu State. Because this one I'm seeing is tales by moonlight. It's not working.
So I'm wondering what you think, or who you think can stop him now.
He doesn't own the party.
One of the causes of inflation is because people cannot go to the farm.
The government still needs to do more so that people can eat.
I believe what clamoring for is more responsible use of social media. Not that people just go in there and think that they can say anything to anybody.
Tinubu is not one who believes in the simple. I mean, he wants to get it done. He will face it. He will get it done.
Yes, the president, from inception of his administration, focused squarely on diversifying the economy and driving in investments to cushion the effect of everything that we've seen, ranging from COVID-19 to the global commodity shocks, global financial crisis, and all of that.
I was privileged to have worked under a governor who believed in the system, who also built up the system, and I'm going to do the same.
All right, that's our show today, everyone. Thanks for being a part of it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
The TVC News at 7 and the TVC News at 10 are not like any other news broadcast.
It's the big news hour, the hour for the big breaking stories. At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello, TVC Communications. How can I help?
What makes TVC the right choice for my business?
Excellent question, sir. Let me share some exciting facts with you.
Start your day on TVC Entertainment.
Live from our
our studio in Lagos, Nigeria. This is TVC Media News. Thank you for joining us. We're tracking developments from Adamawa State, where the police command is confirming that no life was lost in a fire incident that occurred at the MRS filling station at Battery Junction along Newman Road yesterday at night. The tanker went up in flames at a petrol station near the Yola International Airport while offloading petrol. Passers-by scampered for safety from the scene, which many described as chaotic. Just last week, a tanker exploded in Dutse, Jigawa State, but emergency responders prevented residents from moving close to prevent them from scooping fuel. About 4 incidents of tanker explosion have been recorded in different parts of the country this year, leading to the loss of hundreds of lives. Head of Operation of the National Emergency Management Agency, Ladan Ayuba, joins me live now from Yola. Mr. Ladan Ayuba joins me live now from Yola. Good to have you join us, Mr. Ayuba. Give us a picture of what is happening. What is the latest on this incident?
Thank you. The latest information about the fire outbreak yesterday is that yesterday the cause of the incident was due to negligence and adherence to simple guidelines during discharge of fuel. Because that is what we noticed. We realized that they don't adhere to the rules. But actually, the good thing, yesterday, we were happy because our stakeholders were able to mobilize all our stakeholders. That is the fire service, the states, the federal, even Faro. Faro is a company. They also brought in their own fire tanker. And the Nigerian airports, that is, they are able to also assist because those two agencies were able to really assist. But I think all we need is that synergy, because I realize that our relationship with these agencies is cordial. This is prior to what our DG last year, because throughout last year around December, we carried out sensitization on fire outbreak, because that has become a recurrent decimal. So at least it has assisted because it cemented our relationship, and that actually helped in mobilizing all our stakeholders.
All right, Mr. Ayuba.
To ensure that in the fire incident.
I hear you, Mr. Ayuba. You have mentioned that this particular incident was as a result of negligence. What is your counsel, as an emergency body to individuals, tanker drivers, operators, on the best practices while handling, petrol as it is?
Our advice as an agency, because NEMA is more concerned about the life of the people, not all about what they think they're able to get during an incident. So we advise to the general public the NEMA is urging the general public to stay away from incident sites and enforcement of safety regulation.
All right.
By NMDPRA, we should arrange, because even today we were there with them, and we want the general public, particularly the filling station owners, to adhere to these safety measures.
All right. So this incident might have been caused by negligence, but is NEMA able to offer any form of support, any form of respite for persons who have lost property in the course of the incident?
NEMA has always been on ground, and NEMA has always been helped at any moment. If you remember, about 2 weeks ago, our DG was in Enugu to commiserate with the people of Enugu states on the fire incident. And you realize that NEMA will not just go there, they will make sure that they bring succor to the people. The same thing that happened in that is Niger State, Dikko, Niger State. And I think we are able to assist. So NEMA are always on ground, and NEMA is ever ready to assist. And that is based on the magnitude of the incident, because there are kind of disasters that the state itself, the state can take care of. But there is a disaster when it is overwhelmed, then NEMA will come in.
So for this particular incident in Yola, is it something that the state should handle, or would it be NEMA? And to what extent are you able to support? I'm just curious as to, are you able to maybe replace the tanker? What support specifically do you offer in this kind of instance? That is not our responsibility. Is to advise the people. Our responsibility is to make sure that they adhere to the safety rules. All right, then. Ladan Ayuba is the head of operations NEMA Yola. Thank you very much for your time on TVC Midday News. In the meantime, Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has donated 100 million naira to victims of the recent explosions in Niger State. She made the donation during a private visit to the state government. Chademi Bameyi has details.
It was her first visit to Minna, the Niger State capital, and she was accompanied by the wife of the Vice President, Nana Shetima, and the wife of the state governor, Fatima Bago. During the visit, First Lady Oluremi Tinubu met with former heads of state, General Ibrahim Babangida and General Abdusalami Abubakar, to honor their contributions to Nigeria's unity and democracy.
So it's right for me to come here and to greet them, because they are the fathers of our nation, the patriarchs of this great nation. It's good for us to pay our respect. So that's why we are here. It's nothing much. It's nothing political.
The First Lady, for what she has doing and will continue to do, especially for the young children, the motherless and the orphans. She has done very well during her second year in office. She has done the public, Nigerian public, and she has done a lot of things in order to bring out Nigeria. And she is Nigeria's #1 ambassador.
Following the tragic petrol tanker explosions that resulted in the death of more than 80 people in the state, the First Lady paid a condolence visit to Governor Umaru Bago. During the visit, she presented a check of 100 million naira to support the families affected by the disaster.
We are looking at under 70 families, like I reviewed with you. We decided each family will have ₦1 million, at least to help them settle in. And then for other extra expenses for them, food items and things like that, the remaining money from the 100 million, Our Excellency will be able to do that.
We're also grateful that you have come to share with us in pains and commiserate with Nigerians over the losses we had in recent times. It's a personal visit. We really appreciate you immensely, ma'am. I want to thank you so much for your widow's mind.
The First Lady's visit comes amid ongoing efforts by the federal government to ease the effect of subsidy removal in the country. Chanemi Bami, TVC News, Minna.
Away from that, the Minister of State for Works, Bello Goronyo, says the concession of the Abuja-Kefi-Akwanga-Lafia-Makurdi Expressway is set to drive significant economic growth, job creation, and investment opportunities in northern Nigeria. He said this during the official commissioning of tolling operations on the 227.2-kilometer highway. Senior reporter Ademola Lawrence has more.
The Federal Ministry of Works on May 26, 2023 executed a concession agreement with the China Harbour Operation and Maintenance Company Limited for the operation and maintenance of the Abuja-Kefi-Akwanga-Lafia-Makurdi Road corridor for a period of 25 years. The minister explained that the rehabilitation and upgrading of the roads were financed through a preferential buyer credit loan from the China Export and Import Exim Bank.
create a self-sustaining and resilient transport network, support economic growth and job creation, and develop both urban and rural areas across the country.
The concessionaire has been mandated by the ministry to implement a cashless tolling system on the road.
To do more education, we need to encourage the people. We need to get the buy-in of the people, because the effects of this is multiple. Security is guaranteed. Our vehicles will last longer. Accidents will be less. The economy will develop, because at these toll gates, the economies will come up.
January 2023, FEC approved the concession of this particular 227.2 kilometer Abuja Kefi Akwanga Lafia Makurdi Road corridor for a period of 25 years alongside other 8 roads across the country. Let me pause here by telling you that a well-maintained road will boost national economy in those small major. We also enhance fight against insurgency, because insurgency thrives on bad roads.
The loan agreement for these concessions stipulates that the revenue generated from the tolling after deducting operational costs shall be primarily used for repayments to the China Exim Bank, while toll tariffs are projected to increase by 20% every 5 years. Ademola Lawrence, TVC News, Abuja.
You're watching TVC Midday News. We'll take a moment and return with more stories. Please stay with us.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Coming up in the month of February.
Stay with us on TVC Midday News. Let's talk health. The Federal Executive Council meeting on Monday approved $1.7 billion in financing for healthcare sector reforms under the Human Capital Opportunities for Prosperity and Equity program. Additionally, 4.8 billion naira was also allocated for HIV treatment.
Parts of the big bureaucracy where there has been tremendous waste and fraud and abuse.
In January 2025, the U.S. administration under President Donald Trump implemented a 90-day freeze on foreign aid, which included funding for the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief. This suspension raised significant concerns about the continuity of HIV/AIDS programs in Nigeria, a country that has benefited extensively from PEPFAR's support since 2003. In response to this potential funding gap, the Nigerian government is now taking proactive measures to sustain HIV treatment and preventive interventions. The Federal Executive Council meeting approved 4.8 billion naira for the procurement of 150,000 HIV treatment packs over the next 4 months.
That is an important statement that the federal government is making to ensure that those who are already HIV infected, even though we have partners that are supporting the treatment, but federal government is already putting its resources to contribute. And we see that that is a signal that the support that the government is providing to those who are vulnerable.
The total financing of those two projects under the HOPE agenda, the Human capital opportunities for prosperity and equity program.
Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare also emphasized that the initiative projects the government's commitment to providing life-saving treatment and reducing healthcare costs for vulnerable populations.
The President is looking towards transforming the sector that is nationally owned, using national systems and using domestic financing as well as other sources of financing to ensure that those who are on treatment do not lose the treatment that they are already on.
In the past, Nigeria has domestically funded interventions. A multi-ministerial committee made up of representatives from various ministries and the Governors Forum has been established to develop a transition and sustainability plan to mitigate potential funding disruptions. Kemi Balogun, TVC News, Abuja.
Of medical practitioners at the Usmanu Danfodio University Teaching Hospital in Sokoto State has successfully carried out its first ever kidney transplant at the facility of the Urology Center, also known as Center of Excellence. Team lead of the medical experts, Professor Ismail Mungadi, said the transplantation was made possible through support and partnership from various quarters, including TED Fund. He said the surgery was conducted for more than 5 hours, and both the donor and recipient and the kidney are in stable condition. Stakeholders advocate adequate support for the center to ensure sustainability and broaden the reach of the medical services to a wide range of victims. They also stress that sustaining this feat would reduce medical tourism, provide quality healthcare services, and improve the capacity of medical manpower on the region.
Also, in addition to getting all this possible, we also went into kidney transplant preparation, and that is why today we are celebrating the commencement of kidney transplant. Obviously, it's a big problem in this region and the whole of Nigeria. People suffer, there are a lot of patients with kidney disorders, kidney failure requiring transplant, and they have to travel outside the country for the transplant. It's also very, very expensive.
Here, you don't have to spend $1, you spend Naira. So automatically the issue of capital flight does not arise. And it also will help to strengthen our dollar and Naira in the long run. Because if you don't actually have the need for the dollar will definitely come down. It's a matter of demand and supply. So if there is less demand for it, nobody cares. Dollar can go to the roof.
We thank all our partners. We thank the federal government through the TED Fund also for making funds available always for continuous research in urology and nephrology that led us to this level we have achieved of conducting the first kidney transplant in Sokoto.
We have a lot of kidney diseases, and therefore we now decided that it's high time to give the best treatment to our people. And the best way of doing it is to train people, which we are doing in this center now, and then very importantly to offer the highly specialized service, and the peak of it now is the kidney transplant.
Here in Lagos State, residents of Bello, Kusumi Lane and Onokoya communities in Ketu area are protesting what they term the illegal demolition of buildings in the area, which has left many stranded. And police personnel had visited the area allegedly on the orders of the Onikosi of Ikosi after a court order that was secured to that effect. Our senior reporter Theophilus Ilama reports that while residents are aggrieved about the situation, they are saying they are not aware of the court order which directed that buildings should be demolished in the area. He now joins us live for more updates on this development. Theophilus, thank you for joining us. Where exactly are you and what is the situation there?
All right, Bosede, I'm at Bello Street this afternoon, at least about past 12. And as last night, we got a distress call about the demolition. Like you see behind me, this building went down already. Some buildings within the streets inside here and this street as well were either demolished fully or partially on the orders allegedly of the Onikosi of Ikosi. And of course, we got hold of a court injunction allowing the Onikosi to take over a particular compound. But what we see was that armed men, the policemen and the bulldozers were here to demolish several other buildings, and of course residents have been left stranded in this area. So we are going to be talking to some residents who were here this morning. It was quite a dramatic situation as the bulldozer was trying to come in. Residents had to stop them, even lying down on the floor and saying that the bulldozer have to kill them before they get to their property to demolish, of course. So we're going to be talking to some residents this morning, this afternoon rather, on this situation, and they'll be giving us their own perspective. Thank you very much for joining us at this time. Give us a perspective on this situation. What actually happened around here? Give us your perspective.
Okay. First of all, my name is Abimbola Balogun. I'm one of the residents of the concerned persons. So on Monday, we just saw some prints of Obanikosi saying that they are here for demolition of properties. So I had to talk to one of the sheriff that came with them and say, okay, please, can I see a form of documentation regarding this demolition process? So he said to me that, okay, that the document with him, I can't have a copy of it, but I can read through the document. Or reading through the document, I didn't see any of my name being mentioned in the document. And my few residents too, I didn't see any of their name being mentioned. I only see that there's one person in particular that I'm having business with, which is Olatunde Amole. So I was now asking a question that, please, what is the court order that you people have that you brought to this place to come and demolish? They said they have court order. Please, can we see it, or you paste it on the wall for us? They said we shouldn't worry, that they will take effect very soon. Before I could know anything, I can call about 50 policemen all around saying that, okay, they don't want any violence, they want peace. I said, okay, we too, we want peace. But give us some audience. Let us have a discussion. They said they have given us different notice. If you have given us notice, I'm not aware of any notice.
Was any other person aware of any demolition notice?
Many people claim that they don't understand what they mean by they have distributed some notice. We don't understand that part. You said they call us to court to come and appear. We didn't appear. No, I didn't see any invitation, any court order, any court request. I didn't see any form. Okay, now we are trying to call on every other agencies to come to our aid, and we spoke to quite a few of them. They promised us that they're going to be here, though they showed their impact. They communicated with the Oba that, okay, what's going on? He said that they shouldn't mind us. That, okay, my own question is, let's agree that you are right.
For want of time now, what are your grievances? What do you want at this time? I'm aware that the honorable representing this constituency in the Lagos State Assembly was here earlier. What do the residents want at this time? Because from what we are told, I hope to have seen some residents are stranded already. So what do you want?
First of all, I need to give all thanks to Honorable Femi Said. He was the last man standing. It was the cry of people. He was the one that came to our rescue. At the last point, at the last minute, when they needed us, they called on us. We needed them. He's the only man that stand. He really tried for us. He was the one that cautioned them and told them that they should stop the demolition process. Honorable Femi Said, we, the Jagumolu CDA, are saying a big thank you to you. Please, we want compensation for those houses that are demolished, and all thanks to the government.
All right, Theophilus.
Thank you very much for talking to us.
Yes.
All right, Abosede, these are the plights of the people of this area, calling on the government to come and compensate them. Many of them are already stranded in the area, and so it's a big situation that they are faced with at this time.
All right, and we'll be getting more updates on this. Thank you very much, Theophilus Ilama, for us in K2 here in Lagos. Well, that is TVC Media News. We thank you for watching. For more updates on these stories and more that you're monitoring, please visit our website, www.tvcnews.tv. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG. On YouTube, we are live at TVC News Nigeria, and we have updates on WhatsApp at TVC News Nigeria. Thank you again for watching. I'll be back at the top of the hour with more updates. See you then.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, where the black gold continues to flow and fuel Africa's largest economy, where the line between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Oil, gas, politics, development, and community issues all are highly valuable commodities in the Niger Delta. How do they combine, and how can they work together to spawn a new era in the Niger Delta? Join the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amako Arakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Barkamu da warhaka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur.
Story. TVC News, first with story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Meet Benga Oreshegun, a fearless voice and an advocate for the truth. He's bringing fresh energy and bold insights to journalists' Hangout.
Get ready for deeper analysis and dynamic perspectives. Join me and Babajide Kolade Otitoju with other veteran journalists on Journalists Hangout. Weekdays from 5 p.m. and on Sundays 1:30 p.m.
Every weekday on Business Nigeria, we uncover the secrets of the financial world.
We analyze the stock market, shares, bonds, and the thrilling world of cryptocurrency.
Facts matter. Our team dives deep to separate fact from popular opinion.
We simplify complex government policies as it impacts your everyday life, helping you navigate the ever-changing financial landscape.
Watch Business Nigeria every weekday at 2 p.m. only on TVC News, first with breaking news.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Marketing Edge on TV is a leading initiative in the business of brand management and in the management of brand business. It is a 30-minute awesome package that comprises brand news, brand and focus, industry conversation, all in a mix, encompassing in-depth and thorough analysis aimed at promoting the brand idea. Welcome.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
We begin with brand news, where we bring you the latest developments around the world of brands and the marketing and advertising industry in Nigeria and around the world. In brand news, Nigeria's entertainment and media sector is in a record-breaking rise, set to grow at 8.
Hello and welcome to Labour Lens. I am Sharon Ijason. On this week edition of the program, we'll be focusing on the presidential initiative towards having CNG vehicles across the country. We also have new stories for you. We will be right back. A few months ago, President Bola Tinubu released 64 CNG-powered buses to organize labor and 20 others to the National Union of Road Transport Workers (NURTW).
This move is aimed at ensuring that workers and citizens have access to affordable transportation, following the increase in the pump price of petrol as a result of removal of subsidy. In the quest to see how citizens and workers are using the bourses released by the federal government, I and the
Welcome to Labour Lens. I am Sharon Ijason. On this week edition of the program, we'll be focusing on issues that affect workers in the public sector. We also have news stories for you. We will be right back.
The Nigeria Labour Congress says it will embark on a nationwide strike on Tuesday to protest the 50% telecom tariff increase recently approved by the Nigerian Communications Commission. According to a communique signed by the NLC President Joe Ajero on Wednesday, the decision was taken at an emergency meeting convened by the union's National Administrative Council. The NLC said the rally will serve as a warning on the dangers of imposing such an unfair increase on a struggling population earning a minimum wage of only 70,000 naira. The union also directed its affiliates and state councils to begin full mobilization in preparation for the nationwide protest, calling on willing civil society allies to join the preparation.
Our position is highly pathetic.
Issues of implementation of the new minimum wage has been on rage since 2024 owing to disparities. This group alleges that the state workforce welfare is not being prioritized. Among other issues of concern, the group also alleged that the administration of Alex Otti terminated over 20,000 workers and failed to pay them their entitlements.
Abia State has received nearly 600 billion naira in revenue, including loans. However, rather than ensuring proper utilization and accountability, the government has spent about 200 billion naira on projects that appear to be non-existent. Thus, we issue a 30-day ultimatum to the Alex Otti-led government to meet these demands. We hope to witness a transformation in governance that aligns with the expectations and needs of our citizens.
The chairman, Nigerian Union of Pensioners in the state, re-emphasized that they never signed a memorandum of understanding with the government to forfeit their entitlements.
They wrote all sorts of things they could, saying that we agreed to forfeit our pensions and gratuity to government for developmental purposes. Who will give who?
On his part, the Nigeria Labour Congress chairman says he is only concerned about the welfare of workers in the state.
The welfare of workers of Abia State, the workforce, the payment of salary, the approval of minimum wage, every other thing that is being said here, I am not part of it.
In his reaction, the special advisor to the governor on media and publicity dismissed the allegations and highlighted government's efforts at bringing governance to the people.
The government said, the problems we have are enormous. We will not be able to finish the entire arrest. Let's have an understanding. And they agreed. And that was what led to the government paying billions in pension arrears. So there are no issues with NLC, there are no issues with the implementation of the minimum wage, and everything is going on seamlessly.
It is the expectation of the group that the state government fosters accountability, development, and hope for Abia residents.
If you look at the teaching profession, is a profession that the strike action is just an outcome of a very fundamental problem. So as younger kids, when we were in school, we don't even want to be like our teachers before because we saw them as poor individuals, and a profession that even as much as it's very important to the society, they train and build the leaders for tomorrow. Nigeria as a country really has treated it very well and very professionally. So what we need to correct, that is important, the way I see it, is that from a very younger age, we need to let children understand that that's a profession that is worth going into, make the incentives right. A lot of parents use some certain professions, medical line, lawyers, engineers, as very good examples of people to aspire to be. Whatever is being done in that environment, we should start projecting it into the teaching profession, and I think that will solve some of the fundamental problem. And in the interim, all you have to do is just to go into the schools, the public schools and everything. The classrooms are heavily congested, and I also think by policy statements in some other countries is actually what we have encouraged in Nigeria, where the proliferation of private schools at secondary and primary level, you can't get it in some countries like that. The public schools are actually the ones that are better. The children that struggle are the ones that you will find in private schools. But in Nigeria, we have actually switched it the other way. So if you don't have money, the promise of a good quality education for private schools is not guaranteed. So those are the kind of issues from the government's perspective that they need to really go and deal with. If you deal with all that, at the end of the day, in a couple of years, you won't have situations whereby people are threatening to go.
Are never actually respected in Nigeria. So I feel like we should do better for teachers, because what is life without teachers, yeah? To be doctors, you need teachers. To be everything, you need a teacher. So I feel like these people should be like the most valued people in the country. They should earn a lot. Their health services should be paid. Like, they should be really established and respected, but we don't do that in Nigeria. So if they do want to go on a strike, I fully support that.
Teachers, like even from our youth days or when we were young, we see that the salary package of teachers who taught us from primary to secondary school is not even as good as what you would expect. And there's always this debate about who is better, which profession is better, either medicine or being a doctor or being a teacher. And I'm not surprised at all that it has continued over the years. And the neglect of teachers is really poor. So if they are threatening to go on strike, I think it's valid, because they have a lot of concerns and they have a lot of issues raised that they want to be addressed. And they feel that going on that strike would benefit them. And at the end of the day, whatever they are driving out or calling for or clamoring for, they will eventually get it. So if it will mean going on protest, which for us as parents, we are not really always happy about it, because we know that our teachers, or our children rather, will be back at home. I can remember back in the days when teachers went on strike, because I went to a government school, even a government school in Lagos in Ekpe. There was a time we went on strike and we had to go home for a few weeks or few days. Some of us were still hanging around, hoping that it would be called off, but it was not called off. We had to go back home. So, but seeing that this thing time again is happening, reoccurring after how many years, it shows that they're not being treated well, and their condition is actually not as good as what we would expect. So if they want to go on